What's up, y'all? Welcome to the What is Truth podcast. I am your host, Wheezy. I am joined by a man who exudes vast amounts of exquisiteness. He goes by the name of Sir Charles. How are you, sir?
I'm good. My exquisiteness is showing again. Sorry. Try to keep it in, but
yeah, it sounds like you just got back from quite the excursion there.
Got back from Tokyo. Yep. It's last friend in our group that turned 50. And he's like, I'm never getting married. You're never coming to my wedding. So we're gonna have like 50th birthday party. Everyone's gonna meet in Tokyo. You in? I was like, what? Yeah, man. Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it. That's awesome. Great, man. Everything's on sale there too. You can see a currency situation in real time. Like walking around, I got a chance to see, the exchange rate is like really in our favor coming over there. Everything's cheap. I got a chance. We were going to rent. We had already paid for, and we had it all set up for 8 of us to do this Mario karting where you ride go-karts through the streets. Yeah. And we got there, place was shut. Wasn't open. They couldn't get out onto the streets because the streets were closed. And the reason the streets were closed was because there was a gay pride parade going on. And it dead ended into a free Palestine protest. What? Yeah. So that you can see them like blending those two agendas together. Yeah. Which is fun to watch. So I got to see like the capturing of that. There was a sign when we were at the place looking for our go-karts that we would never find. Now we're stuck in a gay pride parade. I turned around, and in the store window of one of these stores, there was a really nice, well-made sign that said United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So that was alarming. On my way there, we drove by this big building. I go, oh shit, that's the UN. So I took a picture of that. Not the best picture, but I took a picture of that. So they're definitely creeping in. You can feel that. You can feel the agendas creeping in there. But short of that, like the rest of the country is very well run. Nobody's having, the exception of the parades and the protests, I suppose. But outside of that, nobody's having mental health issues in the streets or on the trains or anything like that. Yeah. So that's nice and refreshing. You can go into a convenience store and buy something and not get mugged or get run over by people that are just looting the place. So, the good old days.
Some trade-offs. Yeah, I mean, speaking of gay parades, Steve Poikonen, shout out to him from AM Wake Up.
Yeah, I mean, when talking about gay pride parades, I always go to Steve. Yeah, organizing them tirelessly as he does.
He jumped in the chat saying "Sup queers," so I thought I'd give him a shout out back. Yeah, I mean, so we've had a couple of chats. You are the author of the awesome book, "The Octopus of Global Control," which is now
in audiobook, baby. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. I am all in. See, that's the thing. That's really the only way I can get books down is through the audio version. I don't have time to sit around.
I get it. For a while there, the book is long. The book is 540 pages and 225,000 words. And when I first looked at doing the audiobook years ago, the companies were just like, not interested. So I just kind of put it off and didn't really think about it for a while. And then I was talking to Graham after an episode of Union of the Unwanted, and he was like, buddy, like, why don't we record it for you? I was like, oh yeah, why don't you record it for me? That's a good, because I remember talking to those guys in Grimerica in 2018 about the book. And they were some of the first guys to have me on. I specifically remembered that interview because I remember having to do it from the Denver airport with my laptop and a travel microphone while I was back in like the hidden stairwell, so I could find a place that was quiet without like the overhead going off. And so I was reporting live from the Denver airport with those guys, and like for it to come full circle and for them to be the voice the audiobook is cool. So you're going to get 23 hours of a sweet ass Canadian accent in your ear holes talking to you about the octopus.
Yeah, I'm all in on that, man. Yeah, it's I wanted to touch on it today, because of the Netflix special that
Yeah.
has been out. I'm sure that's probably helped, giving you a little bit more of a spotlight, right? People doing research and maybe stumbling upon your work, because of that. Have you seen the Netflix version of it? And if
Yep.
you have, what I mean, I wanted to ask you a similar question. Like Daniel Hopsiker wrote the book on Barry Seals, and
Yeah.
he had very harsh criticisms on the Hollywood version of with Tom Cruise, the Barry
American
Seal
Made.
version. Yeah, he was like,
Mhm.
dude, that whole script was bullshit. So I wanted to ask you a similar question, like the Netflix special and your research into the whole case. What did you feel about it? Did you, because I did hear the directors, they had the directors on a podcast. I can't remember what show it was. And
Ricky
I
had
heard
him
their
on.
take on it. Yeah. And they seemed, I still can't make my mind, but I wanted to ask you about it. Like your thoughts and opinions.
I would have, I mean, listen, I was 44 years old writing about the octopus, just like Danny Casolaro was, right? But I think really I was writing about something that was a little bit more broad in terms of the way I covered, these tentacles. He was writing about an organization. He called it the Octopus. I call it the Enterprise. That's the George H.W. Bush group. That's the government outside of the government, the private CIA that was running cocaine and drugs and doing all of that stuff. That's Iran Contra, Ollie North, all that shit was being run through the Enterprise. And that's what Danny Casolaro stumbled upon. And that's a dangerous group. That's a dangerous group. That's the group that was tied to Clinton and Mena, Arkansas, and Barry Seal and Southern Air Transport. And so you've got
Mr. Hunt.
What's that?
Mr. Hunt.
Listen, man, that whole group in there was driving so much revenue through the cocaine that I mean, you're sort of untouchable in a sense. They're not going to let anything get in the way of that operation, including two young boys that they wind up shooting. That got close. The boys on the tracks and all that stuff. So this is a group that is I mean, for Danny Casolaro to come across these people. My assumption is that he figured out along the way just kind of how dangerous the group was, and if boy, I mean, it's like if you're Michael Hastings or you're Danny Casolaro or you're one of these guys out there, I feel like I mean, it doesn't do them any good for this advice, but like if you make a calculation that it is time to run, don't tell anyone you're about to run. Just run. Just go. Don't hang around. Don't go home and pack your just get out of there. These guys knew it was coming. And they couldn't move fast enough. But I mean, by the time you see it, it's probably too late. But still, if you have time to tell the people close to you, I've stumbled upon something that I'm very uncomfortable with, and I think I need to go off the radar for a little bit of time. Don't say that. It's the same. I've had the same feeling about that when you have evidence. When you're this person that says, that comes out and says, I have evidence that could, put Hillary Clinton at the scene of the, all these crimes. Or what. Don't do that. Don't do that. You either put the evidence out immediately all at once everything right now with no big lead up and then run away from it, or you never talk about it ever for the rest of your life. Those are your two choices. But if you tease that, if you tease a big story, if you tease that you're about to leave town, you're dead. I mean, there is just a long history of people making that mistake. So
the Boeing whistleblower. I mean, in recent memory, I mean, you know, the guy, it's almost the same MO, man. These people that are whistleblowers that have big time shit, they start telling their loved ones, if I die, it wasn't suicide. And you hear that over and over. And like you said, they probably, instead of saying that, just get the fuck out of Dodge, man.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're one piece away from putting that puzzle together and you're on a telephone telling somebody that you're one piece away from putting that puzzle together, I mean, you don't want to get on an airplane next to that guy. You know what I mean? You know, Danny Casolaro gets on your airplane next to you, you get ding. Stewardess, I'd like to
The
be
whole plane goes
on a different plane. You know?
Yeah, man.
I'm not trying to make light of it because it's obviously a serious thing, but it's like it's very real. John Perkins wrote about this in Confessions of an Economic Hitman, talked about how, you know, this isn't a negotiable deal. This is, you're taking the deal or we're blowing up your airplane, that sort of thing. You know, those are the good deals. That's the silver or the lead deals that you get. But there are some times when there is no deal. That's a Danny Casolaro situation. That's a David Carradine situation. We're not just going to kill you. We're going to make it look like you killed yourself while wearing a rubber bondage suit. So we're going to humiliate you too. We're going to make sure that everybody goes, oh, isn't that the freak that was hung himself jerking off in a bondage outfit in a closet? Yeah. You get on the wrong side of some of the people, and they have a very peculiar sense of humor.
Yeah, I don't mean to laugh. I mean, it is morbid, but it's like, whoa, it's man,
awful. But yeah, I get it, man.
Yeah, dude. You know, this whole Octopus case. So obviously I've had you on in the past, and I hadn't been able to read the book, but now that you have the audio version, I have no excuse. I'm doing it. But it's a very, very interesting case. It's very large. In preparation for this podcast, I've been listening to a lot of shit. There's a show called Conspiracy Theories. It's a fucking canned show, you know, put out by the big podcast industry, and you know, they straight up tell you, we're not conspiracy theorists, we just have questions, blah blah blah. And the reason I listen to it is because you get the official story. And so that's really why I listen to it.
That's important to have too. It's important to know, like, as a barometer, like, okay, what are we supposed to believe? We're supposed to believe this, and this is the official story. Okay, what's the acceptable deviation? Where are you allowed? You're allowed to have questions. I have questions about this and this and this. All right, where are the acceptable questions? And it's like, that's where we start. Right.
Yeah.
Like beyond
that, it's important. You need a good baseline, you know, basically like what you're saying. And then, you know, when I listen to these guys break it down, they're like, oh, I give the conspiracy theory a 2 out of 10. It's unbelievable. There's just no evidence. I'm like, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? Right. Like, it's right in front of you. And you know, and I did listen to the directors, you know, from the Netflix show, because there was people criticizing that. Oh yeah, it's just what do they call it?
Limited hangout?
A limited hangout type of deal is what they call it. But I listened to them and hear their take, and they even said that they cut out. It's such a massive case that they couldn't possibly fit in. There was a lot of shit that they wanted to put in. For example, the part where apparently at the funeral for Danny Casolaro, this guy in military garb jumps in and puts a medal down in the coffin, and everyone's like, "Who the fuck was that?" And for many years, no one knew who that was. What the director said was that dude reached out to him. He goes, "Hey, I'm the guy that laid the medal on the casket." And he started asking, like, what's going on? What's the story? And essentially, the guy said that he knew Danny, and they used to hang out and just drink beers and shit. And Danny had told him that he had always dreamed about being in the military. And, it would have been cool to get some kind of medals and shit like that. And so that's why that guy dressed in his military garb and dropped the medal, because that they had talked about it in the past, while drinking beers and hanging out. That's the story from the director, which was like, oh shit, it was little nuggets like that I was able to pick up in hearing from their side of the, of the version. But I'm sure they left out a lot of shit that was probably a little too risque, to add in. But the one thing that they did say, unlike that canned conspiracy podcast, was that that they were 50-50 on whether he killed himself or whether he was assassinated. There was both. If you go down both rabbit holes, there's tons of evidence to back out both. There's a lot of questions for both. And so they left it 50-50. And according to them, anyways, the writers, that's the way they wanted to make it. They just want you, the viewer, to make up your mind whether it was suicide or whether it was a hit.
It was a hit.
Yeah.
It wasn't a suicide. He was afraid of blood.
Well, he
wouldn't have killed himself that way. And he wouldn't have killed himself anyway. He was murdered by a group of people that make murder look like suicide. I mean, they're very good.
And why would you lie to your family that, oh yeah, if I die, it was someone else? Like that's
that's nonsense that there was ever any inkling of suicide. This is what these people do. They murder people all the time. I mean, who knows what the body count is for this enterprise? I've seen civilian, however you want to define it, people that got in the way of them and turned up dead. Estimates of over 400. If you're killing 400, I mean, this is Oliver North's kill squad. These guys are the best in the world. They're not going to get caught at this. They're not going to leave their wallet at the crime scene. This is, I don't know if you ever saw that movie, Michael Collins, but there's a scene in that where a 2-man hit team shows up at a guy's hotel room and knock on the door and hit him with a taser, pull his shoe off, pull his sock off, inject him in between his toes with something that stops his heart, put his sock back on, put his shoe back on, tie it back on, make it look like he had a heart attack, lay him on the bed. That's it. Check his pulse, make sure he's dead. Take your rubber gloves off, get the fuck out of there. I mean, it's not hard. And so with I mean, I don't know why they would leave that up to, I mean, I don't know where there's any room for speculation that Danny Casolaro killed himself.
Well, yeah, for those people that may have missed it or maybe just know little bits of the case, I mean, there's so many glaring holes to the official story on the death. And one of the bigger ones that I found was how the family wasn't contacted until fucking 48 hours
after his death. I think.
Yeah, he was embalmed. He was embalmed.
Yeah, that
without family consent.
That's what you do when you're covering things up. This is one of those things where you can just go, "Oh, we made a huge mistake." Uh-oh. Well, I mean, at some point the mistakes would have to go in our favor, right? Or in the opposite. These mistakes always seem to go in their way for some reason. No, I mean, Danny Casolaro was slashed to death on the arms, 6 slashes on one side, 7 on the other. And he was a guy who was afraid of blood. He was packed into a bathtub.
He had bruises on his body. So the police said that there was no struggle.
Right.
But when they did when the family did their own autopsy, even after he was embalmed, they found bruises on his body, so that shows signs of a struggle, which is something that the official police report never really mentioned
and
at all.
Official police reports, coroner's reports, those things can be faked. They're faked all the time. The Clintons used to have a coroner in Arkansas that would call a double tap to the back of the head suicide. I mean, it was known for that. So you can buy a coroner as easy as you can buy a COVID scientist, as easy as you can buy a climate scientist. You know what I mean? I mean, they're for sale. Or, one of those guys winds up in court one day on a DUI and is about to lose his license and can never work in the industry again. Well, maybe we could have somebody come in and speak to you and make sure that, all right, well, this thing goes your way this time, but we're going to need a favor from you or whatever. I mean, they have ways to make you, they have ways. It's not out of the realm of possibility for them to fake these police reports, these coroner reports. It happens with this group. It happens all the time. If you and I want to go do that, probably not going to happen.
No.
But if they need to, because it's very important that nobody looks into this, because if they look into this, then potentially a bunch of people go to prison for a long, long time, then it gets taken care of. Like if it's that big of a deal, it gets taken care of. So, if they can make a police report or coroner's report look like suicide if they want, but only within the realm of possibility. When you're all slashed up like that, explain to me how you can even hold the knife. You can't. I mean, you know what I mean? Like when your tendons are slit and it doesn't work. It's just physics. It's just human anatomy. You can't. I don't know.
No,
that should be an indicator for everyone that there's something suspicious about it. When they're trying to make something like that sound like a suicide when it's clearly not, that should be like alarm bells going off. Like, why are these guys trying to pretend like this is something that it isn't? I mean, there must be something there then, right? What are they trying to cover up? Who's trying to make them cover it up? I mean, he was writing about a group that was stealing software that was powering the Justice Department. Like, do you know how valuable that information is? God damn, you would know everything. So
yeah, it's bananas. And some of those players involves some of our old friends,
allies in the Middle
East.
Allies
like Israel and whatnot. It's pretty bananas. And I guess the only reason I'm bringing up the bullshit, official narrative apologist side is so for those people that only watch that side, the official narratives or whatever, and so it's kind of like debunking. This is why it's bullshit, and here's the reason for it. Yeah, I mean, there's so many moving parts, but that show conspiracy theories, that fucking canned bullshit. One of the things that they say that it was, it was suicide and his whole story was bullshit. The way they finished that show was, he was just a paranoid guy that felt like he made up this grand conspiracy in his head, and so he was he was the one pushing it in reality when there was nothing there. And sure, maybe there was some coincidences here and there with certain players being connected to other players, but they basically made him out to be some kind of a schizoid lunatic, is what this quote-unquote conspiracy podcast parried out to be. And you listen to it, and it's complete horseshit. I mean, when he was connecting certain people to other main events, to me at least, and I'd like to get your thoughts, it's no different than when these crisis actors or these false flags, whether it's shootings or whatever, you have a lot of the same people in other fucking scenarios, and you have to ask yourself, as just a regular, just a fucking regular Joe. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. Like, what are the fucking odds of this happening? One of the things that dawned on me, and I've said it the last couple of shows, so the people that follow me, I'm sorry, but I'm going to repeat it for Charlie, is so I drive by the Cheetah strip club, which was Muhammad Atta's favorite strip joint. All right. I drive by it every fucking day through work. I'm like, hey, Muhammad Atta was getting the old brewski in there. All kinds of shenanigans going on there.
From his pink-haired stripper.
Yeah. But I don't know why, dude. After all these years living out here, it finally fucking dawned on me that the school where George Bush was on the morning of 9/11, Emma Booker Elementary in northern Sarasota, is within walking distance from that strip joint. What are the fucking odds of that? It never. I all these years driving back and forth. I'm like, holy shit. That's some crazy fucking odds, man. Coincidences. It's kind of like in the Lincoln assassination where Lincoln dies on the same fucking bed where John Wilkes Booth used to fucking sleep in. You know what I'm saying? It's so fucking bananas.
It's almost as crazy as George W. Bush's dad having a meeting with the family of the Bin Laden of Osama bin Laden at the same morning, on the morning of September 11th in Washington D.C. while 9/11 was happening. The president's dad was having a business meeting with the terrorist's family. What are the chances? I mean, once you hear that and you go, "Oh, that's not true," and they go, "No, they're not." They don't deny that happened. You go, okay, well then that's an official story. A passport flew out and landed at the feet of an FBI agent. That's an official story.
Yeah.
So again, when people say, well, there might be some variations, but for the most part, all these coincidences. Well, let me ask you the coincidence of a passport flying out of the briefcase of a terrorist, flying through the sky, through a fireball explosion, hundreds of yards away, through all the piles of dust, and landing at the feet of an FBI agent. I'd like for you to give me the calculations on what the chances that happened, right?
Yeah.
And just understand that's an official story. So, and we've got people announcing Building 7 falling before it falls. Explain how that happens.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few coincidences that the average person doesn't even know about. And you go, well, fine, call me a coincidence theorist then. But here are all these coincidences. What do you make of them? Well,
when you start lining them up, I think that's one of the good ways to proselytize, if you will, into the conspiracy realm. It's just line them up like fucking bowling ball pins of conspiracy theories or coincidences. Line them up and fucking knock them all down, because like, all right, are you still gonna say it's all a fucking coincidence, or I'm fucking batshit crazy? What about this? What about that? But I mean, kind of going back to that whole Muhammad Atta, if you really think about it, it's a strip joint, an adult's place, walking distance from George Bush at an elementary school with kids, PG versus rated X, within walking distance. I mean, and then he's reading My Pet Fucking Goat. It's almost like that was part of the plan, and I've never heard anyone even mention that. That was my own thing, just driving back and forth. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here, man? But it doesn't surprise me, man. You see this shit all the time. It's just another one of these.
Yeah, and if you see enough of them, you start to connect these dots. They're pretty obvious, or at the very least, you start asking questions, and that's where they just really don't want you to ask a bunch of questions. It's funny how they'll show you, they'll show you a snuff film over and over again. That the plane slamming into the towers. I mean, that if that is to be believed, that it is what it is, that is an airplane, that every time you see that, you're watching 40 to 75 people just in the plane, watching their lives end. They don't have a problem showing that over and over again. Why is that? Why don't we get trigger warnings before that? Aren't you? You're worried about triggering a college freshman by reading a word in a book that was written in 1850. You're worried about that, so you have trigger warnings and safe spaces for that. But you'll show us a snuff film of 9/11 over and over again on a loop for 25 years straight. Why? Is it because you want us to feel a certain way? Is it because you want us to be traumatized? You want us to hate Middle Easterners? You want us to never forget? You want us to always be worried that could happen? Do you want us not flying, as Sam Tripoli says? They don't want you flying.
Yeah, with the whole point.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, kind of touching on what you're touching there, how some things they'll fucking show, like you can see on YouTube JFK's brains getting fucking blown the fuck out.
They love showing that.
Or a woman in a fucking alligator's jaws, but you can't see booty clapping or titties. Explain that to me. I don't get it. But going what was I going? You were talking about this the goofy shit that you can and can't see.
Well,
go ahead.
No, go.
I had another brain fart. Go ahead.
Well, it's just that there's certain images and video footage that they actually kind of need you to see. They need you to be traumatized sufficiently so that they can then program your brain with feelings about how you feel about that. I mean, when I went to Japan this last week, and the guys that I was with were all the guys that I watched 9/11 with in real life. These were all my roommates back then at that time. So we were all there sitting on the couch watching it as it happened. Not the best group of guys if you want to take that sort of stuff seriously, because it's just a bunch of shit talking and you know what I mean, like peanut gallery type comments. So not trying to disrespect the honor of the people that died on that day, but at the time I remember we didn't know what we didn't know. We didn't know what was going on. The media was still in charge of the information. But boy, I mean, I feel like who believes the mainstream media anymore? It's such a different world. In 2001, CNN still had a huge audience. They had they had Bernard Shaw under the bed in an Iraqi hotel, while bombs were going off just 10 years before 9/11. They were really known on the scene as the most trusted name in news, and everyone went to them for that stuff. You couldn't do 9/11. Well, I was just going to say, you couldn't do 9/11 now, not with the media. But I guess in a way we kind of just did with COVID, right? Yeah, but it was so sloppy. Didn't it feel sloppy to you? Didn't the media narrative on COVID, didn't you just go this is awful? You guys.
But I wonder because more people have been waking up. I mean, we've been seeing the censorship on YouTube, prior to, what was it, 2016, 2018, somewhere around there. It was the glory days of YouTube. You could find conspiracy shit all over the place. Yeah. And then slowly that's been washed. Now it's almost like we've been normalized to, we've come to accept that we're not going to find any good shit on YouTube. We're just going to find some wholesome government-fed bullshit, super processed, and we don't even think twice about it. It's just it's been normalized.
It's funny that you say that you use the term normalized, because it brings you back to the Yuri Bezmenov 4 stages of demoralization. And the first is, you've got that 20-year period of demoralization into the 5-year period of destruction. And then you get the 6-week crisis. And then after that, the final step is normalization, right? So we're in that. We've had the crisis of COVID, and then we've got into the normalization process of like, well, we've always worn masks. We've always gone one direction down a grocery store aisle, or we've always stood on the dot, or we've always wiped down our groceries with Lysol and whatever. And of course, a lot of that stuff has gone away for normal people, but 25% of the people I saw in Tokyo are wearing masks. I know that's a cultural thing too. I mean, it's a little bit higher in terms of like they were
wearing masks before it became cool.
they're OG mask wearers, yeah. And in just in Asia in general, the times I've been to like Hong Kong and Shanghai and places like that, you always saw mask wearing, and that was pre-COVID. But now it is so normalized that it is easily 25% of the population you see walking around. So there is kind of a sense of like, we've always worn masks. We've always had COVID. We've always taken vaccines on a subscription model. We've always done this. It's like, no, we haven't. But like you said, if they can control YouTube, then they can control the flow of information. And if they can control the flow of information, they can control the narrative, until they can't, because a lot of people are pushing back on this now. And I think that there's a real understanding that we're being lied to. We're being lied to overtly. We're being lied to by omission, the things that we're not allowed to see. So that's a devious form of censorship too, because it's not even so much that they have to tell you something incorrect. They just have to prevent you from seeing anything that's correct. What they hide from you it's almost as effective as trying to, give you, they don't have to give you an alternative version of an alternative opinion to that. They just hide it from you. So you don't even know that people are thinking that. You feel kind of alone. Oh, maybe I'm crazy for thinking this. I don't see any sort of feedback online. I don't see anybody else having these crazy thoughts. So maybe it just must be me. Maybe I'm wrong. And then you move on, right? So you don't get that reassurance, or you don't get that confirmation when you see somebody else go, oh, fuck yeah, I was thinking the same thing. And finally I see somebody that's also talking. If they remove that, like they've been doing, you think you're all by yourself, and you think, well, I must be misreading the situation, because clearly if I were seeing this the way I feel like I'm seeing it, it'd be all over social media, right? I'd see YouTube videos confirming what the way I felt, and I'd see social media posts that confirmed it. But when they make it so that those go away, there's plenty of people out there nodding in agreement with you, but you just don't know it because you can never see it, because they skew it that way. So that's a dangerous way to run a society.
Yeah, 100%. And before I forget, though, what I wanted, we were talking about, shit that they'll allow you to see, like mass murder on a grand scale, but they won't allow you to see shit. Though the shit that pops into my mind is the heroic shootout between Stephen Paddock and Jesus Campos at the Mandalay Bay, where he took 300 fucking rounds and got a scratch on his calf, but we aren't allowed to see that fucking video. But we can see Kennedy's brains getting blown the fuck out. Explain that to me. How
it's funny because that narrative. There's a perfect gun control narrative for you, but they don't really talk about Vegas, do they? They kind of pretend like that didn't happen. So it's a very unusual. Sometimes
what are you talking about? Who's Stephen Paddock?
Yeah. I mean, I was just, I lived in Vegas for 10 years, and I was just there I was back in October, staying at Mandalay Bay. I mean, not like they would put like a memorial or anything. They definitely want you to forget that it happened there. But it's like, I walked around and filmed all over the place. Like, I haven't forgotten about it. Funny that the mainstream forgot about it. I understand why Vegas wants to forget about it. They have a very unusual, the Vegas police, the Vegas media, and the casinos all work in concert to suppress a lot of stuff that goes on down there on the Strip.
Tying it back into the whole Octopus. I mean, It's their own version of
It's
you know,
it's this very small
a
version.
regional octopus.
Right. And you understand why too, right? Like
Yeah.
if Vegas had a reputation of being you know, super sketchy and, you know, getting packed in bathtubs and ice and your kidneys being removed, or guys that go down and take their life savings and put it on black and it comes up red and then they go up into their room, blow their brains out. I mean, that stuff happens all the time. But that's really bad for business, right? So they don't talk about any of that stuff. The police censor it. They make sure it doesn't go out you know, over the radios as things like that. They make sure that the media has a relationship. You know, they have access to certain things in exchange for shutting up about others. The sheriffs are elected. The sheriff Lombardo is a scumbag. The coroners are elected. Those guys are questionable. I mean, there's a lot of things going. I mean, you can run for political office as the coroner, which is fucking weird to me. Okay,
It's fucking wild.
I mean, I'm
man.
just saying that you can run for that office. I've seen the billboards. I don't know why anyone
I
would.
promise
I
a
don't know how it all
discount on
works.
embalming fluids if you elect me.
Vote for me, and I'll be.
Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you.
Yeah.
I don't know how you decide. So many choices. But that's a little symbiotic relationship where if the press doesn't talk about the bad stuff, then we get 42 million people that show up next year instead of 41, and then that's good for everybody, and then that's good for the hotels, and so the hotels are incentivized to make sure that the press gets access to certain things, but they shut the fuck up about other things that happen. And when somebody goes bananas, I mean, now it's a little bit harder to hide it because everyone's got a video camera in their pocket, but
Yeah.
you know, so when the guy has the mental breakdown at the blackjack table and takes all his clothes off and gets on the table, that's going viral no matter what. But a lot of that stuff has been able to remain under the table for a while. But and that's not even anything new. That's stuff that was happening in the 60s too, right? I mean, it's always been the case.
I just think the cameras, like you just mentioned, I think that's been the biggest difference. It's always been the same shit. It's just the coverage. It's harder for them to pull fast ones, especially with the internet. You know, you know the way everyone spreads shit. Like you said, if some dude's just chilling with his dong out on the blackjack table.
I got a good old timey Vegas story that was told to me by the dealer that was dealing this game. A guy named Fred, who was he was old when he told me this story in 2004. And he's a guy that grew up in Vegas, lived there his whole life, and he was a dealer back in the 60s and 70s. And he said that they would have these events, you know, they'd have it where certain famous, you know, Frank Sinatra would come in and he'd be performing. And part of his contract was that he would have to gamble for like 2 hours before he did his show. He'd sit, the theory being he'd sit down, they'd open up a brand new blackjack table, he'd sit down, obviously people would sit down with him, a lot of people would gather around, it would generate buzz and excitement, and everyone would want to kind of be gambling next to Frank Sinatra or with him or whatever. And that's good for business. And so all he had to do at the beginning of this 2 hours was declare, when he was given the chips, either I'm shilling or I'm playing for real. And if you're shilling, that means we're going to give you these chips. And when you're done, you're going to give us these chips back. Whatever you win, doesn't matter. Whatever you lose, doesn't matter. You're just shilling. Or if you're playing for yourself, then you declare, this is my own money. I'm playing with my own money. So my buddy Fred this is in the 60s, and Sinatra sits down at his table and he says, I'm shilling. Everybody heard it, right? This is back when the mafia controlled everything, right? So Frank's playing and he's up like $100,000, right? He's done, gets done, stands up. See ya. Goes to grab the chips. Fred says to him, Mr. Sinatra, you can go ahead and just leave those chips on the table. We'll take care of those. And he says, what are you talking about? I was playing. And they go, no, you were shilling. He goes, don't tell me what I was doing. I was playing. And he goes, listen, you were shilling. Let's go ahead and put the chips down. put the chips down. And he said, don't you tell me my business. I was playing. And he said, Sandy Waterman, the pit boss, pulls out a revolver, sticks it to Sinatra's head and says, put my fucking chips on the table or I'll blow your brains out in front of everybody here in this casino.
God damn.
He said, Frank Sinatra turned white, put the chips down and just walked off. He goes, I go, how close were you? He says, 4 feet. Saw the whole thing. Never made the papers.
God damn. That's a wild.
Everyone at the table saw it. Nobody had cell phones.
That's a wild Sinatra story. Right? Yeah. Holy
so
shit.
He's like, that was back when the mafia ran it. You know, you pay out Caesars a little bit, or you pay out, wherever you are.
And the thing is, you know, when you hear these stories, normies will say, oh, well, yeah, that was back then. Now, motherfucker, this shit's still going on today. You know,
corporate mafia.
Yeah. It's a cartel now, the corporate cartel. Yeah, it's and I'm not kissing your ass, but you put out a great podcast, man.
Thanks, man.
I love it, man. Some of the shit you say, you fucking have me rolling. You're a true comic.
It's stream of consciousness. Sometimes I look back and I go, oh,
dude, I lost my shit. I can't remember what you were talking about. But you said something, the way your delivery hit everything. I was like, holy shit, dude, you're a fucking comic genius.
Well, thank you. I'm not. I mean, I feel like half of this stuff is like, I'm not. I mean, I couldn't. I've said this before. I couldn't be this funny if I sat down and tried. Like when you see some of the stuff, they go, oh my God, that's hysterical. You wrote that. That's hysterical. Like, no, I didn't. I'm just telling you what happened. I didn't write this.
Yeah, but it's your delivery, man. It's your delivery.
Woman for collecting rainwater on her own property, and you're like, oh, that's fucking crazy. And it's like, I'm making that up. That's from a headline. That's I'm, or all the transgender stuff that you see, and everyone's like, oh, you're just. That's why it was when my third book, the Hypocrisy book, has like I think 400 quotes in it. Or 400 footnotes in it, because I kept going through and I would find these insane things that were happening. And I was like, man, if I don't put a footnote here, pointing people to the article or to the study or to the whatever, they're going to just assume I'm making it up because it's so preposterous and nonsensical that, they would just assume I was trying to be funny or trying to like, go, make a joke out of it. And it's like, I wish I were this funny. This is reality. Reality is funnier than anything else. I mean, the fact that we're in a place where they're like, California is like $2 trillion in debt. And they're like, you know what we need now? 3rd bathrooms in all schools for elementary school students. You're like, are you out of your mind? Like, like that's criminal, but it's also like this is what you think is a priority. Like that's hilarious. Like
clown
you're really
world,
dumb.
like you're always talking about. Yeah, and that's the thing. Going back to your show, you talk about some very dark shit, man. And for you to add some humor to it, I mean, it's definitely needed, man.
I've learned over the years that like you've got to sort of like inject a bit of dark humor in there to keep people hanging in. Because otherwise, when you're talking about some of this stuff, it's really, it's easy to go like, oh, it's all over. Why bother? They're going to get us. The truth is, I really don't believe that. I believe that when you're dealing with multi-generational world government enslavers, think about people that if you've ever come across people that are multi-generational stewards of large fortunes, think of how fucked up they are by the time it gets to like the 3rd generation. They're incompetent. They can't do anything right. They're functional retards, most of them. They blow the fortune. Like they lose it all. So a lot of these people, I'm not really as concerned as they would probably want us to be. When you look at somebody like a Klaus Schwab, and he's a multi-generational type guy. And you go, like, you don't even have the self-awareness to realize that you look like a cartoon villain, with the Austrian accent and the Palpatine outfits and all this stuff. Like if you don't even have the self-awareness to recognize that you look ridiculous, like, I'm sorry, I can't be afraid of you. And when you keep going through and you find all these people and you find, oh, they've been in this for a long time, family heritage is, and you get down and you go, eventually you get to the George W. Bushes and you go, it's like Prescott Bush, George H.W. Bush. Those were really evil, devious psychopaths that got a lot done. Then you get to George W. Bush and you go, that guy couldn't get a job at Six Flags sweeping up the place. He's dumb.
But he was funny as fuck, man. You got to give him that.
Oh, he's
George
funny.
Bush Jr. Like, we suffered a terrible tragedy. But check out this golf swing. And then he slammed that fucker out.
We will not rest until these terrorist killers are off of the streets.
Yeah.
Now watch this golf swing. That is well written. I have to say that is.
What about when that
is somebody that's like dot. Now watch this golf swing. Like, somebody wrote that for him, and they're just like, oh.
What about when the dude throws a shoe at him? That Iraqi throws a shoe at him, dodges size 9. Like, immediately, bro. Like, get the fuck out of here. I mean, he was a sadistic piece of shit, but he was hilarious.
Sometimes the simulation gives you a break. Sometimes the simulation gives you a good laugh.
Yeah, I mean, look at Mr. Trump. Trump is probably going to be the most likely nominee. He's fucking hilarious, man.
Funniest president ever.
Yeah,
easily the funniest president ever.
So, winding down, I did want to ask you, because I'm black pilled as fuck, but you did give us a little bit of hope there, some hope and change. I guess the reason I'm black pilled is I feel like we're coming to the end of an empire. The Romans didn't know
we are
when shit was coming down. The Aztecs didn't know that. Like, I often talk about what it would have been like to be that Aztec kid chilling on the shore. You see these massive wooden boats, like, oh, what the fuck is that? And unbeknownst to that little kid, his life is fucked, and he doesn't even realize that the boats haven't even landed on shore yet. And so I'm often wondering if we are in that moment right now where shit is just gonna fucking hit. And I think you had Whitney Webb not too long ago, and she scared the fuck out of me, bringing up something that I never even knew, and that was the Constitution-free zone, which is 150 miles inland from the shores of the United States of America, which is where 90% of the U.S. population resides in. And for those people that maybe just now are only hearing what a Constitution-free zone, can you give us a little flavor of that?
Constitution-free zone, it's wild that it exists. It is a real thing. I put it in the Octopus book. I think it's 100 miles inland, all the way around.
It covers all of Florida, bro. I think it's 150, and it covers the entire state of Florida.
Because it's from the boundary, like from the water in, or from the border in.
That's why I think it's 300 miles across. So if you do it 150, that covers the entire state.
All of Florida. Yeah. Well, it's enough of the population that you're basically living in a Constitution-free zone in some way, shape, or form. At least, enough of the population is that I thought you were going to say that what she freaked you out with was the Killware software that we were talking about.
Because she freaks me out just with all her all her truth bombs, man.
I know. Well, here's the thing. Berwick and I wrote this book, Controlled Demolition of the American Empire, in 2020. And you asked about like being black pilled and maybe like some how to maybe not be as convinced that it's all going to end. I'll tell you this: empires come and go. There's been plenty of them. We are at the end of empire stage, undeniable. You can go look through. There's a nice little chart. It's like 8 steps towards like the end of empire, 8 stages of it. By all measurable observations, we're in the final stage. It's undeniable. But here's the thing: with great change comes great opportunity. And if you recognize it early and you move yourself out of the way of it, and you position yourself in a way that you don't get whacked like everybody else, you can build in the rubble of this. You can grow in the aftermath of this. It's going to happen regardless. It's not like it's not like you're wishing it to happen so that you can profit at somebody else's expense. Of course not. That's gross, but this is going to happen regardless. So the question is, and Berwick and I described it like the Banda Aceh earthquake and tsunami in December 26, 2004. All the people that went out to the water, they went out to the ocean and there was no water. And they didn't know what to do. They thought it was amazing. And they took pictures and they walked out a half a mile and there was still no water. And they took selfies and did all that stuff. They're all dead. All those people are dead because they didn't understand what they were seeing. They didn't understand what the warning signs were. But the people that had been there for a long time and the animals, they all got the high ground. They knew that when that water went away, it was pooling up somewhere. It was going to come back in, and it was going to come back in with a lot of force. Right now, this is end of empire shit. People are out there standing on the beach taking selfies, wondering where all the water went. Bitch, you better get to high ground, like immediately.
But I can't. The fishies, you can see the fish.
It's coming. You know what I mean? I don't want it to come. I don't wish this. I'm not saying that this is a good thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's an observation. You look at the banking system, it's a house of cards.
Yeah.
You look at the media, it's nothing but lies. You look at our economy, it's held together with duct tape and bubble gum. You look at our debt, it's unsustainable. You look at our foreign policy, it's psychotic. Like they are stealing everything that they can get their hands on. They are looting the carcass of the United States and they're moving on.
Yeah,
so
that makes a lot of sense.
You got to kind of get honest about where we are and what's happening. You need to reevaluate your relationship with your bank. You need to not have some sort of delusional 1960s, 50s version of like, oh, I put my money in the bank and it grows. You put your money in the bank, it's going to get stolen because they have created legislation for bank bail-ins, which takes your money. That's if they're creating the legislation and legalizing it through law, then they're going to use it. Just understand that. And so for those out there that see that, they go, that's not good. Yeah, it's not good. Get your money out of the banks. Get your money out of the, unless you want it to all be stolen, convert it into something else. I mean, so again, like my white pilling in this is, I mean, it's not the best case scenario, but it's like, who gets hurt the least? That's what you want to do. You want to be in a spot where you see what's coming and you move yourself out of the way. You get yourself less dependent on the system. You get yourself less involved in the banking. Change that relationship, the relationship you have with government. Get your kids out of government schools if you can, however you can. Or if you can't, then at least be very mindful of what they're being fed, what information they're being fed. There's an agenda. It's coming down. Socially, it's rotting out. Everybody can see it. If you can't see the social rot right now, then you're part of the problem. Then you're probably the rot itself if you can't see it. Because it's obvious to everybody else. It's being made to happen. So it's like, here we are. Wake up, get yourself out of the way. And then in the aftermath of that, once everything has kind of come down, while everyone's trying to figure out what hit them, you'll be on to something new. You'll be on to build, thriving in this new world. But God,
rising
I'm not
from the
looking
ashes.
forward to it.
Yeah, no, I'm in that same boat, man. And then you hear how Russia has these nuclear torpedoes that can cause nuclear tsunamis, and I'm in Florida, I'm getting the fuck out. Like, we need to be active about getting ready for the worst. And if the worst doesn't happen, then fucking great for everyone, but at least you're prepared. You know what I'm saying? Charlie, thank you so much, man, and we'd love to have you down the road again. Always a blast to have you. Where can people find you?
Macroaggressions.io is the website. That's the best place to go. You can find everything about the shows, the books, all that stuff. The audiobook for The Octopus of Global Control is now available at Audible, iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, and a bunch of other places. Wherever you get audiobooks, just give it a look and see, because it's getting syndicated out to a bunch of different places that I've never even heard of. So take a look and see. And if you want to follow me on Twitter at Macroaggressions, that's the best place to do it. Thanks for having me, Weezy.
Man. Thanks, Charlie. Have a good one.
You too, man.
All right, y'all. Hope you guys enjoyed that. That was Mr. Charlie Robinson. You find his links at the bottom of the description. He is a fucking awesome specimen. He scares the shit out of me with his show. Always dropping truth bombs, a du jour of truth bombs. Let's see. Someone said they got an error message on the link. What are you talking about? The link? Here, I'll post it. So if you are listening on, if you want the link, I put the link for the chat on the Rockfin. There it is, right there again. If you're listening on Odyssey or Rumble, if you want to call in, well, I'll put it on Rumble since we have a few people in there. Link is in the live chat there. If anyone wants to call in and talk about that or anything else, I did want to mention next week I will have the awesome Don Jeffries coming on, and I will have the awesome Dr. Raza Vihari. Bart Sabrell was on the Joe Rogan podcast. He mentioned a Chinese scientist several times. That Chinese scientist is my homie, Dr. Raza Vihari. How fucking awesome is that, Steve?
Brilliant.
That Dr. Raza, my homie, it just sucks, man. I wish Bart would have said Dr. Raza Vihari. By name, he just calls him the Chinese astrophysicist, scientist, whatever. But Dr. Raza's coming on next week, and we're going to talk about that, Joe Rogan, and shower him with love, man, because fuck, dude, that's some wild ass shit, man. Anytime you can make it on the Rogan podcast, big shit. How you been, Steve? Steve from AM Wake Up.
What's up, everybody? What's up? I've been good, man. I've been good. Okay.
Yeah, man. Always good to have Charlie on to, and it was good to hear some positive shit, man. But he scares the fuck out of me with his shows. But it's dead on the money. And you fact checked me. So before I move on, you fact checked me on the Constitution Free Zone radius. It was 100 miles.
Yeah, but the thing that allows for it to go all the way across the state of Florida like that is that in addition to the 100-mile border radius, they also include every airport and everything that you would consider a national park or rec area or wildlife preserve or whatever. So anything that's like federal has that Constitution free provision. So that really doesn't, like everything that's considered like BLM land, if they wanted to push it, they could Bureau of Land Management. If they wanted to push it, like that's a way that they could do it.
Can you tell me, can you explain more exactly what a Constitution free zone, does that literally mean what, basically what it's saying, that the Constitution need not apply in this area? So if they want to trample all your quote unquote constitutional rights, they have every right to, because it's in there. How is that within the Constitution to begin with?
So, okay, what it started out as was a border patrol. It gave border patrol the right to basically violate the Fourth Amendment of every single human being that they wanted to. If you're a customs agent, if you're a border patrol agent, ICE agent, all that kind of stuff. This also includes like the Coast Guard, but it's been extended to a number of other different, like the part of the Forest Service, the Park Service has the ability to roll up under the guise of, well, you could be a cartel drug mule. So we have the authority to just run your shit.
That sounds just like when you give the government an inch, they put the whole 12 inches in your ass. Scenario, man. That's why you can never relinquish any fucking rights, because they'll just keep tightening that grip. And that's exactly what it sounds like is happening in this instance. Oh yeah, you're scared of Francisco over here? Well, give us the authority to do this, and then you won't see Pepe and Francisco at the 7-Elevens drinking coffee and shit. It's super wild shit. So I did want to put on some news that came out just fucking right now, man. Not too long ago, about the Nord Stream pipeline. Everything that we had been saying, yeah, we fucking bombed it, and people were saying we were the conspiracy theorists for saying so. Well, guess what? We were proven right. Isn't that right, Mr. Steve?
Yeah, I saw you tweet that out. I took a listen to it. This is a retired CIA officer, I think ironically named Larry Johnson. So we got Grandmama
in the NBA.
Yeah, we got Grandmama up there testifying.
Grandmama.
Y'all don't know nothing about no grandma. You bet. Some of you.
Oh,
might.
I remember that shit.
Might.
The Charlotte Hornets, baby.
I know
the Muggsy Bogues era. Come on now.
The Muggsy Bogues era.
Remember that shit?
That little motherfucker. Make it Spud Webb look tall. He could ball. That guy was 5'3", man.
5'3". He made me look like a giant. He made me look like a Steve from AM Wake Up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was impressive of Muggsy Bogues to do that at that level, man, to make it in the NBA and then have a long, illustrious career. It wasn't just like he made it on the bench for one season or anything. No, the motherfucker balled for many years, man.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. No,
quite
phenomenal
durable
athlete.
Yeah, let's play this clip. So again, here is some recent Nord Stream pipeline news.
It is not only the responsibility, but the sacred duty of the Security Council to take the lead in bringing about a settlement of the Nord Stream matter by peaceful means. I will not review the mountain of evidence that implicates my own country, the United States, in this act of war against the Russian Federation and the Federal Republic of Germany. There was no compelling national security interest to justify the destruction of the Nord Stream pipeline, which has inflicted significant economic pain on the people of Germany. This attack accomplished nothing in terms of helping bring an end to the conflict between Russia and Ukraine's NATO facilitators. It made matters worse. During my time at the CIA, I acquired an understanding of how covert action was planned and executed in places as diverse as Afghanistan and Central America. Such operations are not conducted spur of the moment. They are funded, planned, rehearsed before being executed. Seymour Hersh's account of the U.S. covert action against the Nord Stream pipeline is consistent with the knowledge I acquired during my time at the agency in the late 1980s.
God damn. So again, we knew right away that it was bullshit, that the official story that Russia would destroy its own money generating source was completely bad shit. But if we said that, oh, you must love Putin, you must be gargling Putin's nutsack, blah blah blah, no, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. And here we have this gentleman whom you do have to put a little bit of salt because he is ex-CIA. I don't believe you can be ex-CIA. But at the same time,
So the salt that you would where you would place it is in Seymour Hersh got the story 100% right. And I don't know if that's what he's saying. He said, I don't want to review the mountain of evidence that implicates my own country's involvement. And that's important because the point that we've been making on the show, at least, is that you can't just do this with the US alone. That back in July of the previous year, or of that summer, they had ran the Balt Ops exercise where they had a number of different governments doing all kinds of like cold water and bottom of the Baltic Sea type exercises. And the simple fact of the matter is you can't orchestrate something like this without at least elements in Ukraine's government, Denmark's government, Sweden's government, and Germany's government knowing about it. And so there's a number of reporters over in Europe that have, poked around a little bit, and all of them, I think, have different parts of it. And I think the tragic thing is that if you have a journalist that gets a hold of a story, most of them want it to be their story, and most of them want it to be right their way, not that they can become part of a collaborative effort to form a bigger picture. So nobody's talking to anybody where the Nord Stream stuff is concerned. But if you take all of it and then you put it together, you can go, oh, well, clearly there's people involved in the Dutch government or the Dutch military that knew about this. Clearly there's people either in the military or in the government, and a number of other countries had to have firsthand knowledge of this. Poland has been implicated too. So it's interesting that he's giving that testimony. I'd like to hear more of it because I really don't think this is a situation where it's just the US did this or just the CIA did this.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. The Dutch, I've been saying for quite some time that the Dutch are dirty as any of these other players, including us, Israel, even the Brits. They're just as dirty. I think what separates them, though, is their ability to keep shit under wraps better. They're very meticulous about covering their tracks or involvement. I think that's what separates them above the rest. I mean, the polar opposite of that would be Israel, for example, where we see their fucking shenanigans, their staged videos in Gaza, so many fuck ups, blatant, and the Dutch, on the other hand, are just better organized. In 9/11, going back to 9/11 again, Rudy Deckers was a Dutch fella that ran the Venice airport. He's the one that allowed Mohammed Atta. And this is a local thing to me because I live out here in Venice. But some of the Venice people that worked at the airport said when Rudy Deckers first approached him, he was broke as fuck. He didn't have any fucking money. And then within a few months, the motherfucker was loaded. Who the fuck financed this Dutch motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? So, but that's another fact that it skips a lot of people's minds is the Dutch involvement in 9/11. That gets almost zero mention because, again, I feel they cover up their tracks a lot better than some of these other.
So because he's Dutch, it was the Dutch government that financed him, not somebody else. Is that
it could have been anyone? Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just. You see a lot of Dutch fingerprints. It's just it's crazy. Just like when you see a lot of Saudi fingerprints everywhere. You know what I'm saying? That's just one example. I'll think of another example of
Dutch. The Dutch were basically the original banks. Central bank. Yeah,
they were banks. So that's all I'm trying to say. You see fingerprints, but it's just not all the way in, but that's just speculation on my part. I'm not saying I have 100% evidence on the shit. It's just from bits and pieces that I'm able to pick up. I don't know. You may disagree.
I mean, no, I haven't necessarily seen anything one way or the other that points specifically to elements in the Dutch government that had involvement in it. It seems like there were a number of countries that had, if not direct involvement, at least some foreknowledge. And
9/11 or Nord Stream?
9/11.
Okay.
With Nord Stream, there's been some significant reporting because of where the actual like launch site for anybody going to sabotage the Nord Stream would have come from, and because of where they were running, like who they were running the Balt Ops exercises with. God damn it, dog. Well, it's like 3 times you kick over the freaking heater. It's been like wildly cold here the last couple of days, and Gomez just can't seem to not run into
it's
the
climate change, bro.
Definitely. Definitely. It has nothing to do with the stratospheric aerosol injections that I see every day. And then weird weather coming in with sort of frequency wave-like patterns in the clouds shortly thereafter. That I am positive is a mere coincidence.
Yeah. Any word says the gay Swiss are guarding the pedo pope. That's another fair point. Fair point.
That's why they make them wear those costumes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's what do they call them? The papal zouaves.
Right.
And one of the co-conspirators in the Lincoln, he was a papal zouave.
Okay.
Yeah, he what's his name? His mom got hung, but he was able to escape. Oh, Surratt, John Surratt. John Surratt. He fled and became a papal zouave as soon as he got over there. How the fuck does that happen? Like, hey guys, I just want to be a papal zouave. Sure, come on.
Right? How do you look in pantaloons?
Yeah, man. Oh.
Here's a frilly collar.
Robust cheeks.
There's a frilly collar and a halberd. Stand really still.
He does some good tassel waving when he flips his hair. He's got some decent hair whipping action. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, I mean there was another Swiss connection. I'm just saying, like, if you look, you see them pop up sparingly. I'm not saying all in a lot of these times, but you see them, like a little little Swiss action here and there, but nothing too far involved. Like, for example, like an Israel handprint or a fucking Saudi handprint, if you will. It's just like a little eyelash here and there is all I'm saying. But I think they get to fly under the radar better than most. Yeah, it's wild shit. Were you able to listen to the Bart Sabril show on the Rogan podcast? Oh, you froze. I think he froze. Yeah, he froze. If you can hear me, Steve, your image is frozen. And I'm checking my connection, make sure I'm not the one that's frozen. Blink twice if you can hear me. Okay.
Man, I got zapped, boy.
Dude, I said a joke and then you were just like, and I'm like, damn, all right. It didn't land. It took me a minute to realize you had froze.
That's funny. I'm sorry about that, man. Yeah, no, I heard it start to like bang, 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 and then just and sometimes it'll come back, but today it said, yeah, no. That's weird. No.
Yeah, it's what I had asked you was if you were able to get a. Well, first of all, did you listen to Tucker on Rogan?
No, I heard a couple of clips. Everything I heard was like direct out of let's gatekeep a worldview freaking playbook. I don't have 3 hours like that, man. I just really don't.
I unfortunately do, because fuck, dude,
Because you
when I'm
drive.
driving.
Yeah, no,
I'm driving
that's fine. Yeah.
12, 15 hours, and I've got to drive an hour this way, an hour that way. Dude, those long ass shows for me are fucking
Hell
exquisite,
yeah.
man. It
Hell
makes
yeah.
the day go a lot better. But I listen to it. I'm with you. I know, and you've been on several shows on our mutual friend Ricky's, and kind of battling it out here and there, where it seems like some people in this alternative space think, I don't know, I don't want to speak too much for them, but it's almost like there's a feeling of, there's people in these higher echelons like a Tucker Carlson, or even a Donald Trump. We can put them in that fucking same category. Some people will be, oh no, that's different. No, these people are in the same high fucking profile spaces. We got to put them up there, and they'll view them as, they're telling us, they're truth tellers. They're on our side, even though they'll be fucking promoting Operation Warp Speed or all these other verifiable instances where they aren't on our side. Elon Musk, you still have people in the alternative media saying Elon Musk is our friend, and he's on the side of free speech. Meanwhile, motherfuckers that speak their minds, don't say nothing against the community guidelines, are constantly being suspended or accounts being terminated. Get the fuck out of here that he's about free speech. But did you see the meme? He's free speech. He called someone a retard.
He'll quote tweet something and say interesting. That means he's on our side.
Yeah. These are what you would, like you just mentioned, gatekeepers. Can you explain what a gatekeeper is and how they operate?
Yeah, I mean, there's a handful of different ways that you can function as a gatekeeper. When I was talking about what Rogan and Tucker's conversation was, that's a gatekeeping of a worldview. That's where you've got two guys that are standing there, basically letting you know that this is as far as your evolution of thought gets to go. In terms of career advancement, typically a gatekeeper is somebody that will allow you to level up, or will keep you at the level that you are. YouTube functions as a gatekeeper significantly more than any individual. You know what I mean? Although there's a bunch of individuals that will try to steer, whatever their level of visibility is, and will try and bring people in or push people out or whatever. And look, a cross promotional network is something that you have to have if you're going to be doing this. You just have to. That doesn't mean that you have to compromise your ideals. It doesn't mean you have to self-censor. It doesn't mean you have to, limit what it is you're going to allow yourself to believe. A lot of people do. A lot of people do. And the people that are cheerleading Elon, like when I go to talk about controlled opportunists, that's people who are just voluntarily being a part of the game because they see a lane in the game and they want to try and make a little bit of money there. And so they'll hop in, they'll go from doing okay, let's say for example, we were remember Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla back in the day with Loveline, and it just never got political. Like we did, basically like a lifestyle, a dating show, just shit like that, give some life advice or whatever. And then all of the sudden, like 2016, 2017 rolls around and we go, oh, dude, there's money in this. And we became inquisitive political commentators who never really crossed a line You know, when maybe would go like right up to it, maybe get a slap on the wrist every now and then so that we could go to our audiences and cry censorship, you know, but we'd never really, we'd already know, you know, kind of like, okay, well, there's some no subjects, there's some no words. You can't say this guy's name, you can't say that guy's name, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that, you know, and that's like, that would be a very, very willing, controlled opportunist, because that's somebody who knows in their core, like, where the parameters are. And, you know, we'll go up to them, but never cross them. Aaron Mate is a fantastic example of that. Aaron Mate has done some, what Sam Tripoli calls safe, dangerous stuff, you know, but he will refuse to talk about basically anything that he isn't currently reporting on, unless he knows that it's going to be safe for him. And to his credit, he's at least said that he's a careerist on camera before, you know, so give the guy credit for that.
Yeah, it's funny because I did hear that episode, man. Great show, by the way, on the Tinfoil Hat podcast.
Oh, thank
you. And I'm gonna say this, knowing that I'll never be invited on the Tinfoil Hat podcast, anyways. But I almost found it hypocritical to hear Sam say some of the shit he was saying, because, like, bro, you're fucking safe, dangerous, bro. Like, it's only because I've been, and I say this as someone that listens. I've been listening to a show for many fucking years. I enjoy it. I find it rather entertaining. But if I'm being honest, I mean, it's about being fucking honest. I'm like, dude, you play fucking safe, bro. Don't be acting like you're motherfucker. You go hard in the paint. It's only recently that he's been going down the old tunnel in the Jews rabbit hole. But for the longest time, he was like, no, I don't do that. I don't do that on my show. I don't do that. But now he's having these motherfuckers. I'm like, bro, everything you talked about on that show, and this is my opinion. This isn't Steve's opinion. This is my personal opinion. So if y'all want to get mad at me and talk shit, I don't give a fuck. I'm just speaking my mind. And I don't know. And I don't expect you to make a comment on that. It was just my own thoughts. But like I said, I did like how you broke it down. You gave your thoughts and opinions. Great show. But I mean, I do shit. Since we're kind of on the subject, I'd like to ask you about Joe Rogan, because he gets a lot of shit. I've been listening to that motherfucker for many years, and I think you and I have touched on it in the past too a little bit. But when you listen to someone, he does 3-4 hour podcasts. I've listened to every single episode since 2015.
Wow.
And yeah, every single episode, every single one. I get a fucking alert, boom, I'm on that motherfucker. I've listened to some of the more painful ones, like when he's had Ted Nugent. The first time he had Ted Nugent, oh man, it was fucking unbearable. But I listened to it. That's how much, you know. And like I said, I've listened to every single episode since 2015, and it, just like many people, listening to Joe Rogan is what kind of like, shit, I want to do a show. I want to talk. I want to have these awesome conversations. You know what I mean? With awesome guests. That's kind of what inspired me. Mm-hmm. And so I do hear a lot of people, and I don't want to be a hypocrite and say, well, shit, I apply this to this person, but now I'm making an exception. I don't want to fall into that trap. But that being said, you know, when you hear someone for that long of a time, you start to feel like you know them, as weird as it may sound, because you start to, like, there's episodes where I could tell Joe's annoyed with something, or something's up his ass. There's other times where he's in a hella good mood. For example, the reason I'm in this little long diatribe before I get your thoughts, when you had Bart Sabrell on. Bart Sabrell, I've had on a couple of years back. I think it was episode 100 or 9. It's in the 90s or in the 100s, early 100s. Is when I had Bart Sabrell. He's the guy that got infamously punched by Buzz Aldrin. And so any of the audio listeners, if you guys want to go back and check out that episode, just go down through the back catalog. But when I listened to that episode with Bart Sabrell, Bart told me, I don't know if we said it on the show or if he told me after the show, because we spoke for like 30 minutes after we recorded, but he had told me that Joe had been flirting with putting him on the show, way back then. But for whatever reason, he wasn't doing it. And if I'm being honest, I wasn't sure if I fully believed him. Like, no, Joe would have put you on. And then he shows up on the Joe Rogan podcast. And that solidified a lot for me as Bart Sabrell as a human being, that he does tell the fucking truth. He's honest. And the way Joe was talking to Bart, to me, it came across, because I've listened to him for so many years, it came across that Joe Rogan took Bart Sabrell out to dinner prior to the show and probably told Bart, okay, talk about this, talk about that, but don't talk about your Jesus stuff. Don't talk about certain things, and not to censor him, but rather for people to take him more seriously, in an effort to help him. You see what I'm saying? If that makes any sense. Because if Bart would have gone Jesus mode, it would have turned off a lot of people. Maybe some people would have been hallelujah for sure, but other people would have been like, why should I believe this fucking Looney Tune? You know what I'm saying? And so I got the feeling that, and that's why I want to talk to Dr. Raza next week. Dr. Raza is like homies with Bart Sabrell, like BFFs. And I'm sure Dr. Raza will know the whole scoop. Did Joe take him out to eat prior to this or what? But anyways, that long diatribe was to try to ask your opinion on Rogan, Steve.
I think he's and I gotta jump here in a few minutes too. It's all right. I gotta run my kid to the gym before he goes to work. I don't know why you go to the gym before work, but he's a teenager, so he's dumb. So okay, there's a lot of things to think. And I think all of them could probably be right to degrees. The first thing I'm gonna say is I don't really know, because I'm never gonna meet the dude, and if I do, it'll if I ever meet the dude, it'll be a handshake. You know what I mean? Like it's I don't see the arc really going that way. Although it could, and it'd be interesting to have a conversation with the guy. What I do think is that he is the #1 podcaster on the planet. He has the most watched, listened to, and followed show, period. Like, by measurable degrees. And you are de facto the king of the mainstream media at that point. Regardless of what you wanted to be when you set out, how you view yourself, by the numbers, you're a media kingpin. You're the king, and to deny the influence that being the most watched podcast, most listened to podcast, period, in history and likely perpetuity until they get AI to convince people to just only listen to one particular AI for everything. That if you're going to take away from that reality, that's not the mainstream, that's not one of the four corners of the mainstream media, I don't know what to fucking tell you. I don't know what to tell you. And this is what I told Sam too. I think it's cool that in 2024, one of the parameters of allowable conversation in a mainstream space is the Joe Rogan show. There's been some really weird ideas put forth on there. There's been some pretty cool people that I got introduced to because of that show. I know that there's a number of people that never heard of like Adam Curry and No Agenda without Joe Rogan. I know there's probably a bunch of people that never heard of like Jimmy Dore's show and then found a bunch of other people that way because of it. You know what I mean? He's put a lot of people on. He's done a lot of stuff for a lot of people. I'm not going to try to comment about anything about his personal character, what his motives are. I don't know. What I do know is that he's inarguably one of the shows that sets the allowable parameters for conversation in a mainstream space. And that everything that goes forward from that should be looked at it through that lens. When you were talking about, I don't want to be a hypocrite and say this about one person and this about the give another person on the pass on. If you know that person and you know that person to be a man or a woman of conviction, you shouldn't have to worry about them. And they should be able to hang out with whoever the fuck they want to hang out with, whenever the fuck they want to hang out with them. Because if in your mind, you know, they're going to do the Denzel Washington greatest actor ever thing, where you leave the party before the half an hour before the devil shows up, you don't get your soul compromised. You don't. You've probably seen some wild shit. You've probably done a little wild shit, but not the kind of wild shit that would get you to lose your soul. You know?
Diddy.
No, Diddy. You fucking,
I was waiting to see when I could fit that in. No Diddy intended.
No doubt. No doubt.
Oh shit.
So yeah, I mean, and I'm sorry if that's not a satisfactory answer, man. It's just
no, like, I feel it, bro. I feel it. Dude, I'm not trying to have you assuage a certain perspective, and I want to hear how you feel, man. That's all.
Yeah, and I know there's probably people that want me to be like, he's a spook and a shill, and he's this and that. But I don't know. I don't know this motherfucker.
I'm the same.
Like, what do you want me to say? Like, I don't like. I already get in enough trouble being like, oh yeah, he's a media kingpin and inarguably one of the faces of the mainstream media. I get in enough trouble for that. I get enough arguments for that. You know what I mean? And I can prove that.
Yeah.
Like, beyond that, I'm just making shit up. You know, and I'd rather, right, because it is a really, like, it's a heavy thing, man, because I don't know, 90% of the people that I know that do this because of Joe Rogan. Yeah. Like, that's their, and where I'm at with, like, you know, Tripoli's a friend of mine. Like, that's my dude, you know, for years now. And fucking, if somebody wanted to, they could be like, oh, well, Steve's friends with Sam and Sam's friends with Rogan. So there's a fucking, like, no,
the octopus, you know, of the conspiracy realm right there.
Right. I've never been in a room with Joe Rogan in my fucking life. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I probably won't be, you know, it would be weird if I was. I would, you know, be a little out of my element if it was like that. But like,
I get what you're saying, man.
But you could, if somebody wanted to be, you know, just a dismissive piece of shit, they could be like, oh, well, there's only one person in between that's a fucking straight line, and you're part of this club, and you're on union, and this, that, the other. All those guys yell at me for this shit. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I do not have the majority opinion on that show.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, that's what I like about you, man, because in many ways I feel like that when I've been on other shows, you know, like I have opinions that are far different than a lot of people, and I appreciate that, even though it's because it shows that you're being honest. And just because you're going with the same line of thinking that everyone else doesn't mean you're being dishonest. But you know what I mean? You're kind of going along with what everyone else is thinking and going along with, man. Shit, I remember when I first started this fucking show or my little podcast, whatever, and I started blowing up with, you know, during the Atwood days. As soon as I started criticizing Trump, and this was like fucking 2020, man, I started criticizing. I lost a lot of potential subscribers. I lost a lot of people because they were like, how dare you, man? I was with you. But then you started talking shit about my Lord and Savior Trump. I'm fucking out. And I lost a lot of people, but I could only be me. I could only speak my fucking mind. And that's just what it is, man. And so when I hear you have dissenting views or opinions, man, I enjoy that shit, man. And it's good, man, when you hear some good back and forth between two different sides of the spectrum or aisle, whatever you want to call it. You want to digest both sides, and that gives everyone better perspective, including the two people involved. Man, I know you got to run, bro. So
I do. I got to jump in. I do want to say this, but like I dearly love everybody that hosts Union of the Unwanted for continuing to be like, yeah, we'll go butt heads with Steve over this one more time. Yeah, because it's not always that show. So
yeah, man. No, and it's just I love it. I've been on there a few times. I was on there when they, during the early days. Now I just get an invite like once a year. It seems like, but I still appreciate it. Ricky's cool as fuck, but it just sometimes it gets to be too many damn people, and then one topic gets brought up, and everybody wants to jump in that bitch, and it's hard to even pick a fucking moment to get in, and that it becomes an issue.
You're the man, Wheezy. Pull up for Saturday Night Anarchy in about an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on, bro. I'll be on for the first hour. Hell yeah.
And I was telling the people who are good enough to watch your show and tip heavily to What Is Truth podcast.
Man, don't worry about that. If anything, I would say
if anything, you should be supporting all of our shows, you rich ass garbage man. You should be fucking in there buying t-shirts every week and shit, wearing that shit to work. What the fuck are you doing here? What are you doing?
I'll buy me an AM wake up hat. No, man, and I mean this. I'm not trying to kiss ass, man. If help Steve's show. I mean, I was thinking about this before you leave, real quick. Just a quick show, or just bone out. I'll fucking kiss your ass with you leaving.
That's what's got to happen.
Right,
I got to run a kid.
Yeah,
but yeah.
All right,
thank you. Thank you, Weezy. Much love to Charlie Robinson, brother, who I did not get to talk to. Saturday Night Anarchy, New Prisoners, and AM Wake Up, Rockfin and Rumble. 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Later.
Hell yeah, brother. All right, y'all. That was Steve. Steve. It's one of those things where if someone like Steve asks for donations or money, there will be people that say, "Oh, these fucking people asking for money, blah, 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 blah." He does it full time. And you guys got a taste of Steve. He does the UFC fight nights with me. He fucking knows his shit, man. He's an encyclopedia when it comes to a lot of this shit, current events. He's got an AM wake up show in the mornings, best goddamn morning show in the mornings. On Rockfin, check them out. But they bring you straight fucking dope, man. If you guys feel like tipping money, you're like, "Oh, I work for my money and I shouldn't have to fucking pay for that." I'm not gonna tell you how to feel about shit, but when you see a motherfucker wearing a suit and tie on a corporate network such as MSNBC, Fox News, CNN, and they're telling you fucking news, who are you going to believe? Someone like that? Or someone that looks like Steve, like the fucking average Joe from around the way, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to take what Steve has to say over any of these other fucking corporate motherfuckers. And what does that tell you? It tells you a lot. I mean, that's who I trust. An independent person like Steve. An independent person like Charlie Robinson. Or any of these great friends and guests that I've had. Herio Moric. That's my dog. Supporting independent people is the way to go. I'm never going to ask for y'all. I mean, if you guys want to, fuck yeah, I'll take it and upgrade my equipment. But I work my ass off, unfortunately. It's not that I'm proud to. But yeah, I'm good in the money department. But as far as these other people, that have their own shows support independent media, man. That's what we need to support, especially during this time of censorship where the grip is tightening further and further. It's important because if we don't support independents like Steve, for example, then they're forced to get quote unquote real jobs. And then are you going to get the same fucking information? That's going to stop. People got to pay their bills, man. People got to feed their family. That's just a fact of life. Whether, and I'm only saying that because I do see some people bitch about that from time to time. And maybe those people are just never understand it. So they'll make pretexts and excuses for that shit. But it is what it is. Like I said earlier, I want to tell people that Mr. Don Jeffries will be on next week. He is a historian. I will be on America Unplugged as well, which is with Billy Ray, Tony Arterburn, and Don Jeffries as well. I'll be there at 12 o'clock Eastern next Saturday. And then afterwards, Don Jeffries will be on my show. I think we're doing it at 2 p.m. Eastern. So shortly after that, we will be doing that show. And then on Sunday morning, Dr. Raza will be coming on. We'll break down the Bart Sibrel again. If you missed it, Dr. Raza is the Chinese scientist that works for the Chinese Space Agency that Bart Sibrel talked about. Bart Sibrel mentioned him 2 or 3 times. And that is Dr. Raza. And I have the honor of calling Dr. Raza my homie. How fucking cool is that? I message him once, twice a week. That's my dog. And to see my homie, Dr. Raza, getting a lot of love, I'm super happy for him. I mean, Dr. Raza is cool as fuck. So I'm going to have him on next Sunday morning. So be looking out for that. Thank you guys for tuning in week in and week out. Much love. Thank you guys that listen to my little rant on the Carolinas. And I don't know what happened, but we had like a little spike in subscribers, man. So all the new people, this is my style. I'm unfiltered. I speak my mind. Sometimes you may agree with me. Sometimes you may disagree with me, but at the very least, you guys know that I'm just speaking my mind. So I do allow for people to disagree with me. You could talk shit in the comments. You could talk shit in the video comments. You could talk shit on the Spotify comments. I don't give a shit. It's all good, baby. So again, thank you guys all. Hope everyone has a wonderful evening. I'm going to be on Tom's TNP channel in about an hour. So follow Uncle Tom TNP on Rumble. I'll be on there shooting the motherfucking shiznit with them. Sorry, I'm trying to find a fucking outro jam. And got quite a few now. All right, we'll roll with this one. All right, y'all. Take care.